Right now, while you're reading this, something is happening in your garden that you cannot see. Underneath the leaves, inside the stems, a handful of your plants are already deciding what next spring is going to look like. Whether you get a garden full of flowers or a yard full of green sticks that never bloom is being decided this month, not in March, not in April, right now in August. And the strange part is, the very thing that feels like the responsible move, tidying everything up with a pair of shears, is exactly what ruins it for some of these plants. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know precisely which plants need your pruners this week and which ones need you to put those pruners down and walk away.
So let's get you oriented. You've probably heard the old rule, cut your garden back in late summer so it looks neat going into fall. That's the common belief, and for generations that's what most of us were taught, by our parents, by the fellow at the nursery, by the gardening column in the paper. Tidy now, rest easy later. Here's the contrarian truth. That rule is only half right, and using it on the wrong plant can cost you years of growth. Some plants absolutely need a firm hand this month, or they'll struggle through winter and sulk all next season. Others will be seriously harmed, sometimes permanently, if you touch them at all right now. The very same pair of shears can either save a plant or quietly kill it, depending only on which plant is standing in front of you.
I've spent years walking gardens exactly like yours, the kind that have been lovingly built up over 10, 20, even 30 years. And I want to walk you through 7 plants, in order, starting with the ones that simply need a light hand and building up to the ones where a single wrong cut can undo years of patience. Let's begin. First, lavender. By August, the flower spikes have likely faded and turned brown. The temptation is to give it a hard, satisfying cut. Resist that. Lavender is what's called a woody subshrub, meaning the base is hard, dry wood, and only the soft green growth above it can regrow. Trim back about 1/3 of that soft green portion into a gentle, rounded shape, but never cut down into the bare gray wood beneath it. That gray wood won't come back. Shape it like a loaf of bread, and it will reward you every year for a decade. Here's a rehook for you. The very next plant on this list is one almost every gardener gets backwards, and it's costing them their best flowers of the whole year.
Second, daylilies. These hardy, dependable bloomers are still working in August, but the spent flower stalks are pulling energy the plant doesn't need to spend. Simply snap off the faded stems near their base and pull away any yellowed leaves by hand. Don't shear the whole clump flat. That just removes leaves that are still feeding the roots. This light grooming alone can coax many varieties into a second, smaller round of blooms before the season ends. Third, catmint and other floppy summer perennials like coreopsis. By now, they've likely sprawled open in the middle and stopped looking their best. This is one of the few plants on our list that genuinely wants a firm cut. Trim it back by about 1/3 to 1/2 of its height. It will look bare for a few days, and then, within about 3 weeks, it typically fills back in fresh and often produces a real second wave of color into September.
Now here's where the stakes start to rise, because the next few plants are the ones where good intentions have quietly ruined gardens for years. Fourth, climbing and rambling roses, but only the kind that bloom in one big early summer burst. If yours already flowered its heart out back in June, August is the right window to remove about 1 in 3 of the oldest, thickest canes, cutting them right down at the base. This isn't about tidiness. It clears space so the plant sends up strong new canes, and those new canes are what carry next year's flowers. Fifth, and this is where I need you to really listen, hydrangeas, specifically the big mophead and lace cap types with the round or flat clusters of blue, pink, or white blooms. These plants are already forming next year's flower buds along their existing stems right now, this month. If you cut those stems back for tidiness, you are not tidying the plant. You are removing next year's flowers before they ever had the chance to open. The only safe move is to snip off just the faded flower heads, cutting down to the first strong pair of buds just below it, and stop there. Nothing more.
6. Peonies. If you've had the same peony for many years, maybe even inherited from a parent or grandparent, please hear this clearly. As long as the leaves are still green, they are still manufacturing and storing the energy that fuels next spring's blooms. Cutting a green peony back now, even to neaten the border, drains the very reserves the plant needs to flower well next year. All you should do this month is remove any spent seed pods and clip away any leaves showing brown spotting, then leave the rest of the plant completely alone until it dies back naturally on its own after the first hard frost.
And seventh, the one that surprises people the most, garden mums, the kind that bloom beautifully in fall. Most gardeners assume a late summer pinch keeps them tidy and productive. In truth, these plants are sensing the lengthening nights right now and are already forming the flower buds that will open in a few weeks. A trim this late removes those buds outright, and the plant won't have time to replace them before the season ends. If you haven't already pinched them back earlier in the summer, the kindest thing you can do now is leave them completely untouched and simply let them bloom.
So here's the piece that surprises most people once they hear it laid out plainly. It isn't that pruning in August is good or bad. It's that the exact same calendar date means two completely opposite things depending on the plant standing in front of you. For catmint, August says, grow again. For a peony or a hydrangea, August says, leave me alone. There is no single rule that covers your whole garden, only a rule for each plant, and knowing which is the entire skill.
If this helped you look at your own garden a little differently, it would mean a great deal if you'd stay subscribed, because these seasonal windows come and go quickly, and I'd love to help you catch the next one in time. And if you know someone who's been tending the same garden for years, a parent, a neighbor, a friend down the road, consider sending this along to them. It might just save a plant they've loved for a very long time. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll see you in the garden next time.